Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. Okay, let's get into it, huh? We have another game this Sunday at home in Soldier Field, and it's the 3-4 Bears facing the 2-4 San Francisco Giants. Both teams have played 67 times. The Bears have won 32, and of course San Francisco's won 34, and there was one tie, and they've played 3 times in the postseason. So that's a little tidbit on the past, and the last time we played was 2018. So, and I believe the Bears won. So let's get another win. We definitely need to get a good game out of our team this week. All right, so let's talk about a few stats, and then we'll go from there. So Grafiol, or whatever his frickin' name is, their quarterback has 1,106 yards passing. He has 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So it's not a great ratio, and has been sacked 8 times. So, not as bad as Fields, as you'll find out. Their running back Mitchell is their leading running back, has 296 yards total. And their number one wide receiver, his last name is Samuel, and he has 648 receiving yards with 4 touchdowns. So he's probably somebody to watch, right? Then the San Francisco 49ers, they average 233 yards a game, and that puts them 20th out of 32 teams. Rushing, they've been averaging about 120, so that's good. Rushing yards, that puts them 12th in the league. Points scored, they're at 22.5, so they're 19th out of 32. And then points allowed by their defense, 24 points, and that puts them approximately 21st out of 32 teams. San Francisco are having some issues like we are. They've got a lot of hurt people. They're trying to find their identity. Which quarterback's going to do it? Garoppolo. I can't say his last name, Garoppolo. Or the rookie that they picked up in the draft, Trey Lance. And this is interesting because in 2018, Garoppolo signed a huge $137 million contract. It's a 5-year contract, and out of that 137, 74 million was guaranteed. Are you freaking kidding me? And he hasn't really been that good. He did go to the Super Bowl. They did go to the Super Bowl in 2019 with him at the quarterback, and they lost to the Ravens. That's when Jim McMahon was still the coach for the 49ers, and he played his brother on the other side. His brother was his coach. And Jim McMahon. Can you believe I just said that? Oh, my God. Why did I say Jim McMahon? Jim Harbaugh was the coach of the 49ers. I don't know where Jim McMahon came from. No idea. Bit cold. And they lost to the Ravens, and McMahon lost to his brother, who was the coach on the other side. And they are hurting. They've got injuries. One of their best tight end, Kittle, is on IR, so he won't be playing. So let's see what happens. But a little more on Jimmy Garoppolo. He went to Eastern Illinois for college, and he set quite a few records there, and he even won a Walter Payton Award. And I didn't know this, he's from Arlington Heights, Illinois. I mean, that's like, I was from Prospect Heights, so when I was a kid, so that was right around the corner. And he was drafted in 2014 by New England, and then in 2017 he was traded to San Francisco. Now there are rumors that when Trey Lance, their rookie quarterback, is healthy again, because he is hurt, that they're going to put him in as the starter, and that might be, especially if they don't have a winning season, they're going to put this kid in, and they're going to sit a 74 million guarantee man on the bench. Boy, wouldn't you like to be him? You don't even have to play, you make a shit ton of money. And San Francisco has lost 4 in a row. So they're going to come to play, there's no doubt about it. So we've got to be prepared. Their defense has gotten 12 sacks. They've got 1 interception and 3 fumbles. So we beat them in those categories, that's for sure. Their best defensive player, and if you're not familiar, but he's part of the Bosa family, and it's Joey Bosa. He's their best defensive player. So we're going to really have to watch out for him because he is going to be all over Fields on Sunday. I am sure of it. Bosa is like Mac and Quinn as one person. That's how good he is. He is really, really good. So we're going to have to watch out for him. And their leading defensive player, Fred Warner, has 45 tackles, okay? So that's a little bit about San Francisco. So let's talk about our Bears. Passing-wise, we average about, pathetically, 124 yards. We're 31st out of 32 teams in that category, so we suck. Rushing, we average about 131 yards a game, and that puts us at 6th, so that's really good. And they have to run the ball on Sunday. I mean, way more than we have in any other game to just help get Fields back on his feet, get it so he's not so all the time deer in headlights, right? The Bears have scored, this is pathetic too, only an average of 14 points a game. That puts them in 30th out of 32 teams. Terrible. And then points allowed by the defense by other teams, they average about 23 points a game, and that puts us at 18. Now, if we had a better offense, I think those points allowed by our defense would be better. Less, but that's still pretty good considering last week Tampa Bay was down there quite a few times, and we held them to field goals, so that was really good. Fields, our quarterback, has 816 yards in 7 games he's played. He's been sacked, this is the bad part, 22 times. Yeah, you heard me, 22 times. Terrible. He's thrown interceptions 6 times, not good, but not all on him. It has to do with the offensive line and receiver. There's been a couple where there's been 2 that I can remember that they were tip balls and they were turning interceptions. So I say that's kind of half-half on the quarterback, and then the defense has done their part, the other defense. And he's rushed 140 times. I mean, I know a lot of people are happy about that, and it's great, but I'd like to see that come down and get his passing yards up and his rushing yards down, as we all would. He's still very green. There's no doubt about it. In last week's game, I really saw first of all, he's holding on to the ball too long. That is for sure. But he's afraid. You know, it's kind of like deer in the headlights. And I think he's having problems reading the defenses. I really do. I don't see that he's understanding it. Each game I'm seeing more and more where when he first came out and played, the first game he started, he said the game was not too fast for him. Well, and I thought that was a stupid thing to say because, the other defenses are coming after you for saying something like that, rookie. But I believe the game is too fast for him, and he just is not admitting it out loud because he made that statement in the beginning of the season. So I do believe that's part of his problem. Whoops, my microphone fell down. That it is too fast for him, and he's having a hard time, and obviously the line sucks, and it's not giving him any time. But I also believe the coaching staff is a problem too. I think that they need to dumb down the play calls a little bit more for him, maybe make it a little bit easier, get him some passing and some catches, and get his confidence up. I don't believe that they're calling plays to his strengths and his ability, and that's something that Lazer's really got to do this week. So let's see if he does that. I don't know. We'll see. He's still a rookie, and he is very green, folks, and we're seeing it. So this is what everybody wants, and this is what we're going to get. So, and you know, I just want each week to see him get a little better. The Bears seem to think he is. I'm not sure about that. Like I said, I don't think he's reading the defenses very well, and I think the game is too fast for him. So we're going to leave it at that and hope he rebounds. One of the bright spots is number 24, our running back, Herbert, who has been thrust in because obviously David Montgomery's down, and then Williams was number 8 was on the COVID list. He did come back last week, but Herbert is really good. He has played in 7 games, but he's only started one of those, and he has 279 yards rushing. I really like this kid, and I think when David Montgomery, our number 1 running back, comes back, I think Montgomery and Herbert could be a great 1-2 punch, because Herbert, I like him. And I told you before, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Walter Payton, who I absolutely adored. And because he just never stops. He just keeps those legs and feet going. And he can catch the ball. He's got, I forgot to put his yards down, but he's got quite a few yards catching, so I like that. And I really like to see the Bears using him as a target for Fields, That might help. Fields is just, even give him 5-10-yard passes. You don't have to have him throwing down the field. Get this kid some confidence first. And Mr. Mooney, number 11, leads all receivers with 345 yards, and Robinson's behind him with 250. Now, Mr. Mooney can help this kid out. So I want to see Mr. Mooney. I want you to step up because you did not have a good game last week, and I love you, but you did not. So the receivers really need to step up and run their routes correctly and watch the quarterback. If you see he's in trouble, come back to him. Give him an option to throw to you. You really see that with good receivers. They turn around, they're like, oh, he's in trouble. So they try to get open, and then they wave their arms. And so I really believe our receivers need to do that. They're not helping their quarterback out, and I think that needs to turn around this Sunday. The Bears' defense has 21 sacks. Rock on. They have 4 interceptions and 4 fumble recoveries. So that's really awesome. So the defense is doing the best they can with injuries, a bad secondary, and a bad offense, which puts our defense on the field a lot. A bright spot, Roquan Smith, our linebacker, number 58, has 75 tackles. He leads the teams, and that is no surprise because that guy, if you watch him, you should watch him on the field. He is everywhere. I love this kid. So I'd like to see him to keep going. Both teams really need to win this game. There's no doubt about it because they're both have losing records right now. And I love the fact, and I pray that he does not get a negative test, that Nagy will not be on the field Sunday. Let's hope that he's stuck at home. Wouldn't that be great? I would love to see how the offense does. A Laser does. Even though Laser's supposedly been calling the plays, although last week I'm not sure about that. But just not even Nagy there in your head. I'd like to see how that go. And again, I would like to see the Bears really run the ball because they should use the tools they've got. Okay? So we know what it's going to take to win. Time of possession, they need to win it. They keep their penalties down. They run the ball. We don't turn the ball over. And our defense gets in Garofalo's face all afternoon. Now, that leads us to injuries. Now, Quinn has been removed from the COVID list. So hopefully he plays on Sunday. Mack has not practiced all week, and they have been toying around the Bears, putting him on IR because his foot and his knee. I mean, the guy's been playing hurt all year, so I don't know. They haven't said. We got number 75, our rookie offensive line guy back who went down, I think, in the first game. He's back. There's another offensive lineman that's back. So maybe that'll help this week. We can get a little bit more solid play out of our offensive line because at the end of the day, we need the line to step up. They are absolutely the worst part of this team, and we all know it. Our secondary defense is the second worst part, but really right now, it's the offensive line. And for Fields to even ever succeed, That has to change. So I'm really hoping they run the ball, and I say run it down their throat until they stop you. I felt they should have done that last week, and they did not. But let's see what happens. Okay? So go Bears. I say they're going to win on Sunday. Okay? The game's at noon. Blue jerseys are being worn. I'm kind of shocked that they're not orange because it's Halloween. I didn't really get that, so maybe that'll change. I don't know. But injuries wise, what we're doing okay. I told you that people will be back, so let's see what happens, right? So I on Tuesday got up and I was just thinking about that terrible loss on Sunday still. So I sat down and wrote George McCaskey another letter. If you're a regular of the show, you know that over the last 6-7 years, him and I have written letters to each other. I've written him 3 letters, and he has written me back 3 letters, handwritten on Bear stationery. And he also gave me his phone number, and I've talked to him on the phone. So I wrote him another letter and basically telling him, what I say all the time, Fields needs more protection. He needs an offensive line. And then I really went on about Nagy, that Nagy has to go. I said, I'm starting to get a feel that he's messing with Fields' head like he did Mitchell. So I did kind of that. So let's see what happens, okay? All right, so I thought today I was thinking, the Bears, I know that Soldiers Field is the oldest stadium in the league, officially, okay? So, and then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, 1924, that's when it officially opened. October 9th, 1924 was the official day. But I knew that the Bears didn't play there because I know for 50 years or something, they played at Wrigley Field. So I was a little confused. So I decided to do a little history on Soldier Field, what was there before. So basically, they used it for all kinds of stuff. There was a lot more seats. There was over 100,000 seats. At least 110,000, as you'll find out, seats in that stadium back then. So on November 11th, 1925, it was first called the Metropolitan Grant Park Stadium. So on November 11th, 1925, a group of mothers got the park district to officially name it after soldiers, fallen soldiers. So that's when it came Soldier Field. Interesting, huh? Then on November 27th, 1926, there was 110,000 people there to watch Army versus Navy game. The game ended up in a tie, 21-21. Nothing has changed with those 2 teams. And then on September 23rd, 1927, there was a epic Jack Dempsey and Gene Tierney heavyweight rematch. Apparently, they have won before. They have had a fight before. So they had a boxing match outside at Soldier Field, and the Gene Tierney guy won. Interesting, isn't it? Then in 1927, the largest crowd came to Soldier Field. There was 123,000 to see Notre Dame take on Southern California. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Then, in 1944, 150,000 spectators attended a wartime visit by none other than President then Franklin Roosevelt. So that's a little history, and there was other things in there. I just wasn't going to name them all. There was a ton of stuff they've had. Then, on September 19th, 1971, the Chicago Bears moved from Soldier Field, from Wrigley Field to Soldier Field. And then they cut the capacity to 57,000. That's how many people were at that game. So that first game, the Chicago Bears, on what date did I say? September 19th, 1971, the Chicago Bears played the Steelers. and they defeated the Steelers 17-15. So their first game since moving into Soldier Field with 55,701 in attendance. And and uh, and during it, the Bears prior to that, 1971, they were at Wrigley Field for 50 years. Wrigley Field served as the team's home, and the Bears went 219 wins, 89 losses, and 22 ties at Wrigley Field. I say we move back to Wrigley Field. What do you guys think? And I'm not a Bears fan. and And I told you back, the fact that the Bears do not own their own stadium, which is a huge problem for them, I think. You can't really even sell your team if you don't own your own stadium. And they used to have a lot of fights with the Park District. There were several renovations done throughout the year. And then finally, I told you guys for a long time, they fought about artificial turf. Because back then, it was concrete with just fake artificial turf. It's not like it is now, the artificial turf. So in September 1988, the Bears finally got the Park District to take out the AstroTurf, and they put in real turf, and it was Kentucky bluegrass. So that was a good thing, and that helped the Bears a lot. And you know what? I wouldn't it be, and the Bears, back in the day when the Bears played at Wrigley Field, I was reading, it said the Bears loved playing there. Wouldn't it be cool to see a game in Wrigley Field because you're so small? And apparently the field was diagonal. Because here you've got, let's say, okay, we're facing the field, you've got the catcher and then the pitcher, and then you have the field. They couldn't do that, so they had to do it diagonal. And my father-in-law went in the late 50s or early 60s once, and he said it was fantastic. I mean, think about it. If you've ever been to Wrigley Field to watch a football game, there's no bad seats there. I mean, that would be pretty cool. So I'd like to see that. So kind of give you a little history on the Soldier Field and Wrigley Field. So, because, I don't want to be saying the same thing a pregame, because we always go over it. And the bottom line is we know we have to win this week, period. And we know what we have to do. So, and one other thing, we're going to play the game today. And the game is, each Friday I'll say, what is new on the set? Now, there is something new on the set. There is 3 of them. And they were there on Monday, and they are here today. So, what do you think? Somebody put in, tell me what you think. Do you think you know what it is? And put it in the comments. And again, at the end of the year, who notices the changes on the set or this or that wins the dinner on me. But you got to come to Vegas. So we already had a winner last week. So again, what was new starting Monday on the set? And there's 3 of them. And on that note, I want to say some things like I always do. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Keep on watching. Hopefully on Monday we'll be Victory Monday, playing winnings to beat San Francisco. And then I'm going to do the victory song if we win. And I know you all want that, because then I'll just change up the words a little bit. So Bears, get your shit together and let's win this game. Period. I'd really like to see like 4 or 5 sacks from the defense. I know we can get after Garofalo. I know we can. And let's get in his head, okay? Like that happened to Fields last week. Let's turn it around and do it to the opposing quarterback. Right on? And on that note, let's stop hate. Let's be there for each other. You know what? We need each other. It's tough times. We're not out of the woods yet at all. So help somebody. Smile at somebody. Reach your hand out. Put your hand in my hand. And let's love one another. Don't look at color. Don't look at any of that. Let's just love one another. Your hand in mine. And on that note, I love you guys. I'm looking for a victory. As a matter of fact, I'm demanding one because this Bears fan is getting annoyed. And that's the thing. The last thing is, I wouldn't be so mad as like when they played last week if they were in games and they only lost by maybe 3 or was there. But last week, hello. I don't even think they got off the bus. I'm not sure what team was on the field. Okay, we're not going over there again. All right. I love you guys. I will see you Monday. Hopefully Victory Monday with a song. And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. Bye-bye.